How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Donahue here again. This time we're going to take a look at some practice problems for 2.89 nomenclature. All right, so let's get going. 1. What is the charge of the copper ion in CuO? So in order to figure this out, because copper is one of those transition metals, so it could have multiple different charges, so we want to figure out which charge are we using, you have to look at what it's bonded to and how many of them there are. So I look at oxygen, and I see that oxygen is going to end up with a -2 charge. So I know if I have one oxygen with a -2, the only other thing there is copper, so it must have a +2, so that overall the charge is 0. So the charge on that copper is +2. 2, what is the nitride ion? All right, so naming things, you always got to look at the suffixes. So if you have an IDE ending, you have the root of the element to start with, and ide ending just tells you it's just that element. So it's just nitrogen with whatever charge it's going to have. Well, it's got to gain 1, 2, 3 electrons. So the nitride ion is going to be N with a -3 charge, or a 3-. What is the name of HNO2? So I'm going to skip ahead. Look at this chart. So my hint to you guys is to memorize all of the 8s, the nitrates, the bromates, etc., because then you can figure out the rest of them. So for example, if I have bromate is BrO3 with a -1 charge. If I had bromite, then bromite has 1 less oxygen. Hypobromite would have 2 less oxygens. So bromite would be BrO2 minus, and hypobromite would be BrO minus. All right, so let's take a look at NO2. All right, well, I need to know what the NO2 was. I know that NO3 is my nitrate, so that must be nitrite. And now for acids, if it has an ATE, it goes to ic. If it has an ITE ending, it goes to us, OUS. I think of it as like you ate something gross, you go ick, and then after you eat something, you got the itis, right? You just want to take a nap. At least I do. Maybe I'm alone in that. So if I have HNO2, well, I had nitrite, I'm going to change that to us, so I end up with nitrous. And then how do I tell that it's an acid? You throw in the word acid, so it's nitrous acid. So what is the sulfite ion? So going back to this pattern, so memorize the 8s, the bromate. The way it's stupid, it sticks in my head though. Brickle, no co, so cro, po. So brickle, no co, so cro, po. And I go, all right, Br, and then it's O3, 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 and then O4, O4, O4. And then there's 3 -1s, and then 3 -2s, and a -3. So, it's a bit of a brute force memorizing, but, find something that works for you. So sulfite, well, let me find sulfate. SO4 -2 is sulfate. So sulfite is going to be 1 less oxygen, so SO3 with the same charge. So that is my sulfite ion. What is the formula for hydrochloric acid? Again, review of the naming rules. If it's just hydrogen and another element, that's when you're going to see the hydro something ic acid, where the something is the element. So HCl is going to be hydrochloric acid. HF would be hydrofluoric acid. If it ends in us, OUS, then you know that stuff had an ITE ending originally. So HClO2 would be chlorous acid. So all right, well, let me figure out what chlorite is. That's chlorite, and so I can figure out what chlorous acid would be. If it has an 8 ending, it's going to end in ic, right? So if I had nitric acid, then I know, hey, it must have been nitrate. So let me write in the nitrate and add the hydrogen. So hydrochloric? Hydro is telling me H, chloric is telling me Cl, so it's just HCl. What is the molecular formula for 1-hexanol? All right, so we're getting into organics. So we got to look up hex means how many. It means 6. So it's going to tell us how many carbons there are. An is going to tell us they're all single bonded to each other. So I should have twice as many plus 2 hydrogens, right? So if I was writing this out, I'd have 6 carbons. Each carbon can make 4 bonds. So I'm going to have hydrogens all over on here, which would give me a total of 14 hydrogens. But the OL ending is telling me that there's an alcohol group on one of them. So I still have 14 H's because we didn't get rid of an H. There's just also an oxygen. So a molecular formula for 1-hexanol would be C6H14O. Yeah, I think that's it. Hope you found it helpful. See you in class. Okay, bye.